Sometimes the silence between two people is louder than anything they've ever said. And if you're honest with yourself, you've felt that silence in your chest like a warning, like a slow pull from something ancient inside you telling you that something is changing, that something is shifting, that something is about to test you. And tonight, I want you to hear this message as if it's coming from the voice you've tried to ignore, the voice you push to the back of your mind every time your heart starts fighting with your logic, because that conflict, that tension, that inner storm you keep pretending isn't there, is exactly where your strength is born. And if you listen closely, you'll notice that the moments that shaped you the most didn't come from comfort. They didn't come from people who stayed gentle with your feelings forever. They came from the ones who pushed you, the ones who made you question yourself, the ones who forced you to look deeper, even when it hurt, even when you felt something intimate rising inside you that you couldn't explain, something that felt like desire and danger at the same time. And in those moments, you learned something about yourself you never forgot. You learned that the heart wants intensity, but the mind wants peace, and the body wants closeness, warmth, a connection that feels like electricity, but also safety. You learned that wanting someone deeply doesn't mean you should lose yourself in them. You learned that attraction is powerful, intoxicating, sometimes overwhelming, but it must be guided by reason. And that is where Stoicism walks into the room like a quiet guardian, not to kill the fire inside you, but to keep it from burning down everything you've built. Because desire without discipline destroys you. Desire with discipline transforms you. If you've ever cared for someone so much that your hands trembled a little when they got close, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment when just the way they breathe near you feels like it's pulling you closer, and a part of you wants to surrender completely. But another part, the part that has been betrayed before, the part that has been abandoned, ignored, or overlooked, steps back and says, "Wait." And this speech is about that wait, that pause, that thin line between emotion and wisdom, between impulse and intention, between intimacy and destruction. Most people never learn how to sit with that moment. They rush, they cling, they chase, or they run from themselves. But the Stoics understood something most people in modern relationships never consider. The strongest love starts with the strongest self. If you don't know how to rule yourself, your desires will rule you. And if your desires rule you, someone else will rule your life. Tonight, I want to take you into the quiet corners of your mind, the places you don't let people see, the places where your fears whisper your doubts, where your insecurities bargain for attention, where your past lovers still linger like shadows waiting to remind you of everything you don't want to feel again. And I want you to walk through that space slowly, recognizing that every painful memory is a teacher, every heartbreak is a sculptor, and every moment of intimacy, whether physical or emotional, left a mark on you for a reason. You're not weak for wanting closeness. You're human. You're not flawed for craving connection. You're wired for it, but you must not let your craving blind you. You must not let your loneliness negotiate your standards. You must not let your hunger for someone's touch convince you to betray your own boundaries. There is a kind of power in a man or woman who can feel deeply yet remain grounded. The world doesn't understand this kind of strength at first. People often mistake your calmness for coldness, your silence for distance, your restraint for lack of desire. But what they don't realize is that the quiet ones often feel the deepest. They just refuse to be controlled by the waves inside them. And that's something rare. That's something magnetic. That's something that pulls people in without you having to say a word. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion. It's about mastering it. And relationships, real ones, the kind that shake your world, require that mastery more than anything else. Because when you connect with another human being, especially someone who makes your pulse shift, who makes your thoughts move faster, who awakens something intimate inside you, you are stepping into unpredictable territory. But unpredictability isn't the enemy. Unpreparedness is. You must walk into every relationship with a self that stands tall, a heart that is open but guarded by wisdom, and a mind that sees clearly even when emotion tries to fog the lens. And that's where most people fail. They love with their wounds instead of their strength. They expect their partner to heal what they haven't faced. They hand over their peace and call it devotion, but peace is not a gift you give away. It's a foundation you build together. There will always be moments of temptation, moments when someone's presence pulls you like a tide, moments when their eyes feel like an invitation, moments when their voice slips into your mind and lingers longer than you intended. Those are the moments you must slow down and breathe. Feel the desire. Acknowledge it, let it move through you, but don't let it command you. That's where your power lies. In the pause, in the stillness, in the choice you make when your emotions are loud, but your mind stays steady. Stoic relationships aren't emotionless. They're intentional. They're rooted in respect, truth, personal discipline, and mutual growth. Two people who choose each other, not because they're afraid of being alone, but because they admire the strength in one another. Because they see someone who can walk beside them, not behind them. Someone who understands that intimacy is not just physical. It's presence, honesty, loyalty, and the courage to stay grounded even when passion rises like a storm. And passion will rise, it always does. No matter how disciplined you become, you are still human. You will still feel that pull when someone touches your arm a little longer than necessary. You will still feel that warmth inside you when someone looks at you with the kind of intensity that seems to read your thoughts. But instead of getting swept away, you will learn to read the moment. You will learn to ask, is this connection aligned with my values? Is this person feeding my spirit or feeding my weakness? Is this attraction helping me grow or making me lose myself? Most people don't ask these questions. They chase the feeling. But the Stoic path teaches you to chase clarity instead. And once you learn that, the world starts to treat you differently. People feel your presence before you speak. They notice something about you they can't quite explain. They sense your discipline, your self-control, your quiet intensity. This energy draws people toward you, but prevents the wrong ones from anchoring themselves to your life. The truth is, modern relationships are noisy, too much talking, too much guessing, too much reacting, too little listening, too little observing, too little self-awareness. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is go silent, not to punish, not to manipulate, but to understand, to hear yourself again, to hear what your instincts have been trying to tell you. Silence reveals people. It reveals intentions. It reveals who respects your boundaries and who tries to cross them. It reveals who stands with you when your energy shifts and who only wants you when you're convenient. And when someone truly respects you, when they value your presence, when they feel that deep connection rising with every moment they share with you, they won't fear your silence. They won't run from your calmness. They won't try to rush your decisions. They'll match your pace. They'll recognize your depth. They'll feel the intimacy in your restraint, because restraint is not rejection. It's respect for them and for yourself. If you are a man watching this, understand this clearly. A man who can control his impulses is feared and admired. A man who doesn't chase every spark he feels becomes a fire that others can't resist. A man who knows how to hold himself, even when desire moves through him, becomes unforgettable. Not because he hides his emotions, but because he commands them. And if you are a woman watching this, hear this deeply. Your strength is not in how loudly you love, but in how gracefully you protect your peace. A woman who stands in her self-worth, who sets boundaries with quiet confidence, who doesn't let attraction blind her, becomes the kind of presence that few ever forget. You become a mystery, not because you're distant, but because you're selective, and that is powerful. Relationships built on Stoic foundations don't crumble easily. They don't rely on constant reassurance, emotional volatility, or temporary highs. They rely on mutual respect, controlled desire, honest communication, shared discipline, and the quiet understanding that real intimacy isn't rushed. It's built slowly through trust, through consistency, through moments of stillness, and through choices made in alignment with the best version of yourself. Let me tell you something uncomfortable but true. You will outgrow some people. You will outgrow people you once wanted desperately. You will outgrow people you once felt intimately connected to, not because you stopped caring, but because you started seeing. You started understanding your value. You started realizing that some relationships were built on emotional impulse, not philosophical alignment. And when you grow, some people won't rise with you. That's not failure, that's life. There will come a moment, maybe tonight, maybe months from now, when someone will step into your life who awakens something powerful in you. Something emotional, something intimate, something you haven't felt in a long time. And in that moment, everything inside you will want to fall quickly. But remember this, the strongest connections require patience. The deepest trust requires time. The most meaningful intimacy is built through discipline, not desire alone. Don't rush, don't cling, don't lose yourself in the fire. Become the fire that others rise to meet. And when someone steps into your life who carries their own discipline, their own calmness, their own self-awareness, when their presence feels like both passion and peace, when their touch feels grounding and their silence feels safe, you will know you've met someone aligned with your path. Someone who understands that stoicism isn't coldness. It's clarity, it's strength, it's intention. It's choosing a love that doesn't cost you your sanity. A love that grows with you, not against you. Your future relationships will test you. They will bring you moments where your emotions try to overpower your judgment, where desire tries to outrun wisdom, where your past tries to whisper in your ear. But remember who you're becoming. Remember the discipline you've built. Remember the silence that taught you everything. Remember the moments that broke you and the moments that rebuilt you. Remember that real intimacy is not found through chaos, but through control. Your control. And when you stand grounded, when you choose slowly, when you remain centered even as desire moves through you, something incredible happens. Your relationships become better, deeper, more stable, more meaningful. They stop being battles. They become partnerships. They stop draining you. They start elevating you. They stop being distractions. They become purpose. You're not meant to love the way the world tells you to. You're meant to love with strength, with intention, with clarity, with depth. You're meant to connect with someone who respects your silence, appreciates your discipline, and feels the passion beneath your calm. You're meant for a love that aligns with your philosophy, not your fears. You are not meant to chase chaos. You are meant to build something unshakable, and the moment you realize that, your entire life will change.